Hey everyone, it's Platinum Aspiration. What I would like to go over is the teen, child, and toddler stages of converting, which are ultimately the same, but for toddler, when you get into Sim PE, it can be a little different. This might be a speed run once we get past the teen, and then when we get into Sim PE as well, we will go ahead and kind of speed run that because you guys have already seen that from the first video. So let's go ahead and get started. If you recall from part 1, we left off with our one Billy braid hair, which is the black labeled hair with the red texture. So now what we're going to do today is go ahead and start with the teen conversion. Let's go with Milkshape first. If you recall, we deleted the scalp base. We deleted that from our final, and then we exported the actual Billy braid hair to a TSRW object that we would use later with the bone assignments intact. What we're going to go ahead and do, File, Import, Sims 2 Unimesh Import. But we're going to go to Bases. And I want to start with my teen female face and TF hair bald, which I will call every once in a while the hair, the scalp. I'm so sorry because my brain just does its own thing sometimes. So create blend groups, no. Faces don't have fat morphs or pragmorphs. Some skin weights do not total 100%. Yes, every time we want 100% weight. Back to the import, Sims 2 Unimesh, okay. Do you want to include additional bone assignments? Never. Sims have the perfect amount of bones. They don't need any more. Back to our workshop, bases. Let's go ahead and get the teen female hair bald or scalp or hair, whatever I called it. Okay, so we have the teen female head. Let's go ahead and import our TSRW object and route it to your Billy braids or whatever hair you're converting. We save the has joints WSO. Now you'll notice right away, let me go ahead and open up select. You'll notice right away that the adult frame is not aligned with the teen head. We need to fix that. And the best way that I know how is to go ahead and deselect everything once you've got your head and hair aligned and in view. And then select your hair alpha 5. Go back to model, move. Remember, X is left and right, Y is up and down, Z is forward and back. So we want to go down. And we are going to drag it down until it... Now, bear in mind, if we want to align it very similar to how we aligned it with the adult female mesh. So again, when we're looking at this, the scalp in the back is going to stick out and the top will need to be fixed. Now we can pull this up because I don't recall having to pull this back in. But even still, the idea here is to have her ears cupped with the hair and her eyebrows to show a little bit. So you can bring it up. I would suggest to bring it up. You can see here that the scaling may be a little off. Now once we add in our texture, we're going to get a better idea of what we need to fix. And even then, you'll see that her scalp, the scalp and the hair texture or the hair mesh, they're closely aligned. But let's go ahead and add our texture so we can get a better view. So while you still have your hair alpha 5 selected, let's go to materials, new, assign, click none. And we want the bitmap or BMP file so that we can get a perfect view of the mesh. Now you'll notice when you export it as a TSRW object, the texture will remain as well as the joint. Let's go ahead and take joints out because that's kind of hard to see. And let's go ahead and go into 3D model mode. You'll see that this joint right here, or this vertice, the set of vertices goes right in the middle. and moving this in and out may cause more, moving this one in and out, because again, we don't want to touch the line where they meet. These vertices are protected essentially. If you do that, you're gonna have a messed up mesh. So with that, with this guy right here, I may want to pull him out just a little bit. Let me remove the colored groups. The textures themselves look fine, at least on this side. The best way I can think of doing this is to just move her entire hair back, because you'll see here that we have a little wiggle room between her ear and the sideburns, I guess you can call them. And that'll help with all this clipping that we're experiencing in the other areas as well. This area, I'm not sure, but you know what? It's worth testing. All right, princess, let's do this. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and not right click, but I'm going to double click or hit the select button for my hair alpha 5. And I'm going to move her, and I might even move her up just so that her hairline's not touching her ear. Now, I'm going to have to fix the back of her head regardless, and I will fix this as well. It's best to kind of get the best look that you can. You can take off your wireframe overlay. If you think about it, this gray area is going to be transparent, so it's going to align with her head just fine. We can pull it back even a little bit more maybe and have her hair kind of going over to her ear. The only thing I'm still concerned about is this, but that's an easy fix because honestly we're already on that side. So I'm going to kind of zoom in here, and I'm going to take her face and her hair away. And what I want to do is grab this, and I'm just going to move it out. There, now it's still tucked behind her scalp, but we're getting more texture. But one thing I also want to do while we're here is just make sure that her hairline is okay. I have noticed in the past that the area right here will sometimes peek through, and to be honest with you, I can't tell. So it may be in my best interest to wait till body shop. So what I want to do now is fix her scalp. I'm going to, like we did with the adult mesh, I'm going to grab the back of her head, and I'm going to go ahead and hide her hair. We don't want to move that. I want to make sure that we don't grab any base that connects the scalp with the face. I actually want to not include the face in this case either. We only want to include what we want selected, right? So let's bring her hair back because we've deselected everything. Go to move, and I want to move it forward. And we'll keep an eye on our 3D, but we'll do it from here. And again, the reason why we're keeping this is because of this transparent hairline. I keep it anyway, just because that's what I do. Let's go to model, select, and let's check her hair here. I'm gonna go to colored groups, a little bit easier to see. Yeah, so I think I saw it. There may be, no? There's no peeking? Wow, we did like a good job? No way. I'll send it to Body Shop and we'll go from there. How about that? And if we see anything there, that's fine. We can always fix it. We're going to go ahead and delete the face. The hair will already have its comment. And for our hair alpha 5, the TSRW object does not save your comments. So grab it from your notepad. I've linked it before, but I will link it again for you. And from there, we're going to go ahead and export. And we're going to export it as a Sims 2 Unimesh exporter. And I'm going to name it very similar to my other Billy TF_GMDC. This one is typically probably the easiest of conversions. Go ahead and start our child. I know, we're going to skip Body Shop for now. So start a new file. We're going to go to File, Import, Sims 2 Unimesh Import, and we're going to go ahead and go to our bases, and similar to the teen, we're going to grab the face for the child universal and the hair bald universal for child. Okay, we have our child head, import, TSRW object, and let's go to our workshop, work in progress hair, Billy braids, has joints. And again, this is the adult versions. You're going to go to move. We want to move it down. Now, the difference here is that we're going to have to do some scaling because Obviously the hair texture is bigger than the child. So I'm going to move it up a little bit past your ears, and I'm going to move it forward just a bit so it's kind of shaped where we want it to go. I'm going to go to scale, center of mass, and then from there I'm going to do what I usually do, which is 0.99 on all three of them, keeping them all selected, and we're going to go ahead and scale it. Now when you get about here, you can see that it's starting to go in. Let's go ahead and reset. So I'm going to move it down. And then I want to move it forward just a little bit. I may have gone too far. Sometimes I do this without putting the materials first. I would encourage you that you assign your materials. We may have been okay. I don't even know how many times I clicked. I could probably tell you how many times like you should click, but it's all subjective. And I even still may have clicked too many times, but this actually looks okay to me. I won't do that again. I'm sorry. That's not really helping anyone. I kind of want to bring it forward just a little bit, but I don't think I should. Let me take off the colored groups. It may be okay actually. Honestly, we could probably just tuck this part in and leave the rest. Yeah, we got the texture in there. This texture needs to come out a little bit more. That's about that. So you just click it like 5 to 10 times and it'll go there. All right, so I do want to fix some of these. Let's fix her scalp. It's very simple. It's just all about scaling. So next we want to do is go ahead and remove the face, and our hair has comments, and we're going to go ahead and add comments to hair_alpha5. Now with the joints, I'm probably not going to touch them because more often than not, they already align with the joints that we already had in place. So everything above this will be like 90. Everything below this will be that 80 that we selected. Again, I highly encourage you to check out the Serenity Falls or Rented Spaces tutorial on bone assignments so you can kind of get a better picture of what I'm selecting. So as long as we have our two groups, the scalp and the hair alpha 5, we're going to go to File, Export, Sims 2 Unimesh Exporter, and I'm going to go ahead and name this one CF. If you plan on making meshes that convert to other genders, which maybe we can do that, I'll find a hair, then you can leave this as like CU, because again, I think we talked about it, but child and toddler, they share the same texture or same bases for the head and body for both genders. So we are done with the child. Let's go to File, New. Nope, we already exported it. And again, import toddler. Toddlers are PU face and PU hair bald. Okay, so TSRW object. Now, if you want to take a little bit of work out for yourself, you could export the child version as a TSRW object, and that'll bring you closer so you don't have to scale as much maybe. So this is a moment where I've scaled it too much. I need to start working on morphing. One thing I want to note, it's very difficult again to hide these lines because we never keep the face. But if the face is visible, then when you're actually playing the game, more than likely the face will be visible. In this case, it's going to be easier for us to move forward than it is to move back. So again, we're having to do a little bit more with this. I truly think it's just because the toddlers are, you know, toddlers are toddlers. All right, I think we can leave it right there. It might be okay. I think we just need to fine tune it. Maybe bring in her, you know, bring in these textures a little bit more by themselves. I think the bangs look all right. It's so funny that this side only is sticking out. But let's go ahead and get the back of her scalp. And gosh, you can even see it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and take this and I'm gonna hide her hair. I'm gonna go ahead and move her head in. I'm gonna turn back on colored groups so I can see, and I'm gonna turn off the wireframe overlay. Yeah, so she's got a thick old line, so we have to move her head down. Excuse me, move her scalp down. Hiding the hair groups, unhide that, move down. Even if this is just taking you a little bit longer, that's okay, because sometimes I'll rush it and I really shouldn't. Joints are set, materials are set. Y'all, I think I'm good with this toddler hair. Even now with the sides, they're coming in. They're sticking out just a little bit. We could probably scale them. Let's go ahead and scale them in. This transparency really doesn't mean anything. It's all what's happening like right in this line. We're going to see that better in Body Shop though, and we'll be able to readjust at that time. So let's go ahead and set our comments, delete the face. Some creators, like myself, when they have toddler hairs, they name it Hair Alpha, so it pulls from a different texture. I have found that this is what works for me. So if you, it's mostly just because that's how other creators have set the model name. If you're not sure what the model name is on the hair that you have as your universal, check it. Export the GMDC from the mesh or extract it from SimPE if it's, you know, one of the game meshes. I highly suggest custom content ones. That's just a little bit easier. And just check what the toddler stage is and, you know, name it after that. What I'm using is Hair Alpha. So let's go ahead and rename that as well. So we have Hair Alpha and our comments model name Hair Alpha. They align. Let's go ahead and file, export, Sims to Unimesh exporter, and I'm going to go ahead again and name this Billy PF. Save it. And once we have them in our workshop, before we get confused, I'm going to go ahead and rename this. You can rename it whatever you'd like. Just make it, you know, easy for you. Let's go ahead and open up the child and start there. I'm going to go over this quickly for the child, and then we'll speed run it for the toddler and the teen, because we've done this before. So go ahead and select them all, clone them all, delete them all, save them all. Tools, object tools, fix integrity, name it something unique, update OK, go ahead and select your GMDC type, copy the name, replace, and we're going to go to the spot where we need to be and select our CF GMDC, yes, fix TGI, commit, okay, make sure you replace the name back to what it was, then fix TGI and commit, save it, you have a child mesh. I go over that a little bit better in my adult version, so I'd highly suggest checking that out. Okay, now that you have your meshes, let's go ahead and select them all, Control X, and we have all of our life stages. As you recall, the adult female covers elder female and young adult female. We have child, toddler, and teen. We have all of our meshes. We're going back to SimPE. Let's go ahead and open up our saved Sims. And if you have it in the same spot, you have your adult female Billy set. We are going to take that same recolor that we made and go ahead and add our other life stages as soon as MPE loads. Store your instances so they are all together, ones are together, twos are together, etc. Just make sure you recognize that PU stands for toddler universal, CF stands for child female, TF is teen female, and then your adult females, elder females, and young adult females all share the same name. However, bear in mind, this property set that you're looking at also accounts for their age. So 10 is elder, 8 is adult, 40 is young adult. If you are trying to find which one of these is like an elder, like if you're making custom colors and you don't want the elders attached to it or something, check the ages. Check the age. Back to our resource tree, let's click on all resources. And let's start mapping our meshes. So you're going to click on the 3D ID, and the instance of this 3D ID is 1, which is attached to the toddler universal property set. Go to PJSE, Body Shop Mesh Tool linking stage. Okay. This is just telling you not to commit or save while you are on the 3D ID. So let's go ahead and navigate to our downloads folder where we have our meshes. PF, open. Go ahead and continue as normal. I apologize for any background noise. My husband is watching a movie at max volume. Next one up is the child female. Now that we have updated and linked our other meshes, let's go ahead and click off of the last 3D ID, which I have here, and save it. What I want to go ahead and do before we go into Body Shop is make sure that my hair alpha is updated as well. I had extracted a hairstyle that also included the toddler. So with that, I'm just going to make sure that the red here is where it needs to be. So this is our elder. This will be our scalp. The first one and the last one here will be our textures for our toddler and our adults and other meshes. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how these correlate. If there are two textures that are black or blonde, whichever one you extracted from Body Shop, know that one is the child through elder stage and one is for toddlers. So let's go ahead and exit out of here and let's open up Body Shop to see how we did. Now that Body Shop is loaded, let's go to Build Sims, Build or Clone Sims. Hair is going to be in Custom. Okay, so this is where our adult left off at. Elder, the reason why it looks like this, i.e. terrible, is because we haven't put the gray texture on it, so don't worry about her. Teen, very similar to the adult, mind you. We didn't change much. But remember, we still have our back faces as well. Child. Alright, same situation with right here. But overall, not bad. I could bring it in because, see my back face? Back faces work great, especially for clothes, because if you think about it, you're looking at the back of someone's shirt. Hair, not always. Back faces work really well with like bangs. Like if right here it was transparent, that would be the place to put a back face. Back here, probably not, because it looks like you're looking at the back of her hair, which doesn't make sense, right? So probably not a great instance of using back face. Okay, moment of truth, toddler. Not bad for a first start. She's got something going on with the ears. I want to bring it in a little bit more. For the back of her head, I think I could just bring it up. For myself, I like to bring them in here. It's so that I can like go back and, you know, have toddler open right now, Control Z to bring back their face, know where I'm looking. You can keep Body Shop open the entire time if you like, you know, and work off of that. So I'm going to work on these in my own time, but I want to make sure that we get the full version of this video. With our adult, we have the black. Remember, we named it for the black. I'm going to go ahead and create parts. Start new project, create genetics, and let's go to custom and grab our Billy braids. And I'm going to name this one Billy Blonde. Now you can do your tooltips now, or you can do them later in SimPE. Now if you want to, you could go to Load Save Project Billy Blonde. It's going to be named the same. You could export if in need you deleted it or something and you wanted, or you deleted it from your saved sims and you wanted to reload the project. You can do that. I'll go ahead and just use one of these as brown. So now that we're done with Body Shop and we have our saved sims, we need the textures for those colors plus gray. So let's go back to Sims 4 Studio. You could do this at the beginning. I personally choose to do it at the end when I'm ready, because if I scrapped the hair, I wouldn't have wasted my time extracting those, because Lord knows I've done that. As always, try to keep the original Sims 4 mesh until you are done. We'll go ahead and open this up in Sims 4 Studio. And similar to the first video, we are going to extract it the same way. So we want black. I choose the black, the dark brown, the old platinum blonde, and I'll usually do the bluish gray in lieu of the darker gray. Now for red, I sometimes will do the darker red and the orangish light red. I hardly ever do this more blue tinted red. We're done with Sims 4 Studio. Now we can open up our files in, I'm gonna do Paint 3D. Hey, so I forgot to record. After extracting the textures, I resized them to 1024 by 1024. Now I'm opening up Body Shop because I realized that I wanted the extra dark red color. Exiting Body Shop, we are going to go ahead and go to our Saved Sims folder. And now we have the 5 textures plus the extra gray for the black. And let's go ahead and start updating them. So let's start with black. Let's go to the texture image. And let's go ahead and update our gray since we popped up on that. Build DXT, open image. And let's route to our workshop for our hair. And pull up the gray color, build, commit. So we need to change this red to black now. And when we open it, it should already be where we need it to be. Now, normally this is where we'd stop, but because we have a toddler with the hair alpha naming, we're gonna go ahead and build that to black as well. And we're gonna go ahead and save as. While I'm here though, I'm gonna go ahead and update my tooltips. So I usually put my Tumblr name a little bit shortened because it's kind of long. This is gonna be the file name and the color, so that when they go to their downloads folder, if they wanna remove it, they know exactly where to remove it from. Let's go ahead and commit file again and save. Exit out of there, let's go to the next one. Let's go with dark red. Now within here, again, we're going to do the same thing. There's one less texture though. That is because the recolors that we exported after the first one, the toddler is going to be linked to the hair alpha 5. I don't know how it works. It's black magic at this point. Okay, so that is our hair. Let's go to the hair binner. I'm going to go into workshop. I'm going to go to my hair binner. I'll have a link for this below. And we're going to click on the hair binner application. Now it's a very simple program. You're just going to route to your saved Sims folder or wherever you have your recolors here stored. And you're going to put the black in black, brown, brown, blonde, blonde, etc. So you can also add favorites right there. So my black, I want the preview to be this, okay. Now this right here will say that black and gray are linked together. You could have brown and gray, blonde and gray, red and gray. You can even have a separate gray, which is what I used to do with my original hairs because I didn't understand this. But hopefully with this video you will, that you can add the gray texture to any one of these recolors or you can build a separate file for the gray. So let's do the rest. Now for your red, we have 2 reds. So what I will typically do is I will bin one and then go back through and bin the other. Now, yes, we want the same family for all 4 colors. That right there lets you know that they are connected. So when your sim switches hair colors, they will keep the same hairstyle. 1 gray for all colors, yes. That 1 gray is going to be this one. If you uncheck this, then the gray textures within the brown, blonde, and red will remain and will look very, very poor. You can make backup files. Ages to keep is pretty obvious. If you didn't make a toddler, child, or teen, or you just wanted the younger stages to be kept, you would want to select the ones that you want to keep. Eyebrow gender, I always keep unisex. Enable outerwear, I always leave it checked. So let's go ahead and bin. Now you can't just bin 1 color, it has to be completely filled out. So for our dark red, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to select dark red instead of red. You'll also see here that the file size will drop significantly for the hairs that are being binned currently. And I did make backup files. I forgot to deselect it. So I'm going to probably remove those. So let's go ahead and link our dark red. Again, you can't link one by itself. It has to be within the same family. When you're binning it for the same family, the family with the red that was chosen is going to change. So when your sim switches hair colors, they'll keep the same style, but the last one you linked will be the one in the family. So in this case, what I'm linking, this dark red, is what's going to be in the family. Okay, we have binned our hairs. They are compressed. So, the file size is significantly reduced. Again, black is going to be a little bit more because it has the gray texture linked to it. You can always rename them. I'm going to eventually for release. I think that was it. There are some other things I wanted to go over, like your longer hairs with, there's not much in the way of difference, but I do prefer to use the mesh toolkit for some hairs because that's just going to be easier or less time consuming than going line by line. There are other joints that you can select. Again, like with bouncy hairs, I'm not fully acclimated to using those, but the longer your hair gets, you may need to use spine 1. That's why, like I said, I like to use the mesh toolkit because it tells me when to use it basically. But in the meantime, yeah, let's go ahead and just do a final wrap up on our hair mesh that we created together. Hey all, so I've actually recorded this a couple times. I'm actually kind of tired of recording it. I went into live mode within the game and just play tested around with the hair. I would suggest that you do that for any of your conversions. When I looked at it, it was very similar issues to what I saw in Body Shop. So with that, I'm going to avoid loading up my game and goofing around just to not have this save. I'm going to go ahead and close out this tutorial. If there's any suggestions for tutorials besides the ones that have already been shared, please leave a comment down below. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and going through this process. I hope it helps you with your conversions. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hey y'all, I am coming in at the last minute. I'm about ready to, I think I've already said goodbye in the video, but I wanted to also add in a piece when you are done with your meshes and you're done editing. The reason why I didn't do this earlier is because I wasn't done editing and it can kind of be a little bit more of a pain. Anyway, we want to combine these meshes. So go into adult female. Once you're in here, very simple. You are going to right click add, and then you are going to navigate to your downloads folder. And then when you're in here where your meshes lie, you're going to go down into the category and change it to DBPF package. And you will select your child, toddler, and teen mesh. Go ahead and open those. You can save it like that. Now all of your pages are in one package. Back to the credits.